Welcome to the CrossFit Max podcast.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back. Now, we have been talking about the CrossFit Open the last couple episodes, and this will be our last one recapping because the 2024 CrossFit Open is now officially closed. So we wanted to just do a quick recap from the affiliate side, our personal side, what hopefully you guys can take out of it. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I know I'm going to miss this year's Open. I'm going to miss doing the Friday Night Lights with all of our community members. And hopefully I'm looking forward to making it bigger and better for all of you guys for next year. All right, let's get into the episode. All right, 3, 2, 1. What's up, team? Welcome back to your favorite podcast of the week.
Woo! We made it. We're here.
We are in a little bit of a rush this morning.
And we're in like fully survival mode, I feel like.
Susie and I have caught something over the last couple of days, and
Yeah.
we're back to it today, but things are kind of being pushed on the business side of things, and unfortunately
We're delayed.
Podcast is like the last thing we got on our schedule here, and we're fitting it in just the amount of time. So let's get straight into it. We appreciate all of you guys listening to the podcast.
Get into the
And
nitty gritty.
I feel like this topic could have been discussed for a 3-hour episode, but we're going to try to bang it home in
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Now,
Buckle up, everybody. Speed podcast coming your way.
and it's so funny because Susie literally just walked into the gym like 30 seconds
I'm
ago.
like taking my jacket off while I'm getting situated here, but we're making do.
Our banter topic is going to be related to the topic, and that is our post-open. That's our topic for today.
Yeah.
So we want to talk all things after the open is now completed.
Exactly.
And the banter topic will be our personal experience with the open and with the last one. So we completed 24.3, which was a spicy workout.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was a nice combination of thrusters, chest to bar, and then thrusters and bar muscle up if you got there. And if you could do them.
Yeah. I almost got some muscle ups. Just kidding.
So how did the open workout go for you? Obviously, you were
20
super limited.
Yeah, 24.3 was I was expecting it was going to happen. Gymnastics was going to appear. I was secretly hoping we would get like a wall walks or something that I'm able to do at 27 weeks pregnant. But
we got chest to bars
we
instead.
got chest to bars instead. Honestly, I feel like I would have been able to like grind out some pull-ups.
Mm-hmm.
But chest to bar, like I'm just like 20 pounds heavier right now. And I can't do the arch position for the kipping. It's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
no
there's
bueno.
there's no purpose in forcing myself to try and do it. So unfortunately for me, my open workout was 10 thrusters.
That's it. It's a wrap.
then what I did is I did the RX weight for the 10 thrusters so that I could RX the WOD. And then what I did was I just did ring rows for the rest of the workout just to get a good workout in.
Mm-hmm.
But I've challenged myself. I went unbroken on all the thrusters is a way to feel like I was still getting a good workout. So I had a really good time. Malice and I, who she's also pregnant, we were like, it only took us 34 seconds to do our 10 thrusters. So we beat everyone who took more than 34 seconds to do their 10 thrusters. Mentally, obviously, it has no value on the actual
0 value
leaderboard, but we did both go unbroken on our thrusters. So you know what? It was fun. I had a great time. I worked out hard. I was very sore afterwards. I added weight for the second round of the thrusters. So, I made it a fun workout.
You did.
But in terms of ranking,
Dropped you down a bit.
yeah, it really took a
Where
big...
did you finish in the...
That's what I was just opening my phone to look at. My worldwide ranking is honestly not that bad considering. 59th percentile.
Damn.
I mean,
between 25 and 27 weeks pregnant.
That's pretty good. Like, I'm not mad about that.
Yeah.
And then my ranking in Australia is the 52nd percentile.
Nice.
And then my ranking at CrossFit Max is the 67th percentile. So, I mean, I'm like top of the board in all of it. I'm in the top 50% in all of my rankings.
Not bad.
At this level of pregnancy, I mean, I'm going to give myself the ego pat on the back. I deserve it.
Yeah, that was good. Nice.
But yeah, so my open went well.
Good stuff.
Tell us about yours, baby.
My open 24.3 experience. How do we put this? How do you describe death and fun at the same time?
CrossFit.
That's right. Yes, it was arguably one of the more challenging workouts I've put myself through in the last couple of years.
Physically or mentally?
Oh, both. Both. I took the approach of the fuck it mentality and I decided, you know what? I'm going to go as hard as I can at the beginning of this workout to give myself as much time as possible.
Right.
And I did do that. And I finished, for those of you guys who don't know, it was 5 rounds of 10 thrusters, 10 chest to bar pull-ups. And then if you completed those 5 rounds, you had a mandatory 1-minute rest.
Yeah.
And then you went into 5 rounds of 7 thrusters at a heavier weight and 7 bar muscle ups. And you had a time cap of 15 minutes to do all of that. So I decided to try and push and get super uncomfortable in the first 5 rounds.
Yeah.
And then I did do that. I grinded it out and I finished it in like 6:20, I think.
It was impressive.
And then I just went into a dark place in that second half of the workout. I got like 2.5 rounds in on the second part. And I was hurting real bad.
Yeah, I could tell you were hurting. I actually thought that you hurt your knee when you were doing the workout.
Oh, yeah. No.
But it was you were cramping, right? In the
Yeah.
end, it was your quads were cramping.
Yeah, it was
but
weird.
the way you were kind of moving your leg, I was like, oh, no, not his knee, because you've had knee problems in the past.
Yeah. No, my knee was fine. It was like
very
every
worried.
time after the 3rd round of chest to bar pull-ups, so I did the 4th round of thrusters, and then I would go to my chest to bar, and I did my chest to bar, and when I came down off the pull-up bar, my quads both seized up and cramped up, and I was
That's
like,
happened
oh
to me
no.
before.
And then I was thinking to myself, man, I have one more round of thrusters, and then I got to go into the heavier thruster in the second part of this workout.
Yeah, and it's not like you to cramp on those types of movements. It's just
I just went too hard at the beginning, and then I mean, I haven't done that intensity of squat volume in a long time. So I was happy. Overall, I finished, after the end of the 3 workouts, I finished 84th percentile.
Damn, good job, eh?
In the world and in North America East. So your region is Australia because you put your, what do you call it? Citizenship. No, not your citizenship. Is it citizenship? Yeah. Okay, it's Australia. And I put mine as, North America, Canada. And that puts me in the North America East region. So finished 84th percentile in both the world and that qualifies me for quarterfinals.
I need a top 3 in CrossFit Max.
Yeah, top 3, yeah. Shout out Justin for finishing first, LP for finishing second, and then I finished 3rd. And it was a good overall test. And I had a lot of fun. I'm not sure if I'm going to do quarterfinals. I think I might, depending on the workouts. I know sometimes they put in things like rope climbs and GHD machines, which we don't have here. I'm also not sure if I'm willing to put myself through a tough weekend like that. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm 50-50 right now.
What is the format? It's one weekend and you have 5 workouts or something?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 to 5 workouts.
4 to 5 workouts. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
My goal over the last year, I did 3 things I really wanted to focus on. Number 1 was like my aerobic capacity, so longer endurance stuff. Number 2, I really wanted to work on burpee speed. And number 3, overall strength. And I feel like reflecting upon my open, the endurance side of things was great. My best workout, I finished over I think it was like the 90th or 91st percentile in the world on the 20-minute AMRAP, which was the second workout.
Yeah, that one required good understanding of pacing and good endurance.
So I did great in that one, so super happy. in terms of like the burpee workout that I really sucked last year in, I finished like the 60th percentile, 61st percentile. And then this year in the burpee workout, I finished in the 72nd percentile, I believe. So that was a huge improvement.
Massive jump.
And then unfortunately, I was a little disappointed they didn't put any strength protocol in it. And had there been a strength movement or a test, my overall percentile, I'm sure, would have gone up. And I didn't get to test that, but I know I'm definitely stronger than I was last year. So
for me,
overall improvements were higher. Last year I finished 81st percentile, and there was 4 tests. This year I finished the 84th percentile. So I went up 3%, and I'm pretty happy with that.
You should be. You crushed it. I was just going to say, this open would have been super great for me, not pregnant, because it didn't have the strength component, and that's usually my weakest point in the workouts. That's where I really struggled last year with the one rep max thruster or whatever. So I'm curious to retest these workouts in like maybe 6 months post baby. And see how I measure up.
That being said, I do not want to retest any of these workouts.
But it's because I didn't feel like I got to test them.
I guess that's definitely fair.
I don't feel like I ever tested them.
I definitely do not want to retest this last one.
I was extremely limited on my just like ability to push. I and that being said, in the past when I was more competitive, redoing workouts, you typically do a better score on your second redo because you know how the workout feels. You understand how you can transition a little bit better, pace yourself a little bit better. And you're racing against yourself.
You're racing against yourself.
Gear.
You definitely understand what the target is and how to, you obviously create a plan to execute better. And if I was, like I did a few years ago, a little bit more competitive, then I would have redone them and I would have been able to do better without a doubt. Especially I know in the first and second workout. I'm not sure about the third workout. I think if I were to redo the third workout, I would pace myself way more in the first part of that. This way I would have had more energy for the second part. But that's not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to really send it, get into that really uncomfortable pace, and just hold on.
Try to hold on, yeah.
But yeah, it was a great overall experience. I'm happy with my results.
Me too.
Stay tuned on quarterfinals.
I'm very thrilled with my participation.
Yeah, should be. Super pregnant too. All right, so moving on, we're going to go into a few points that we want to cover.
Yes.
For post-open. The first thing I wanted to talk about was more from the affiliate level. So how did it feel in terms of like CrossFit Max running it? How did it look like it was going for other affiliates around the world? And then we'll talk about the programming side of things, what I feel they did good on, what I feel they lacked on.
What we would have done different.
What was the other point that I wanted to make? Oh, and then how our athletes can reflect on their open results as well. So first thing, let's talk about from our personal affiliate level. I think our affiliate really came together. There was a lot of convincing needed at the beginning. Like I said in a previous podcast, we're only like 37 or 36 athletes who participated in CrossFit Max last year in our first open. And this year I think we ended up being 57 athletes.
Wow.
So we had at least 20 more athletes participate. And there was a lot more convincing, I feel, that needed to happen this year because there was more members at the gym this year compared to last year.
There were more conversations.
Last year we were relatively new in opening. We had been open less than 6 months. So we were able to really discuss this for a long period of time and try to convince people. And I think a lot of people who did sign up were really happy that they did as well. There was also a lot more people who participated in our Friday Night Lights. There were some athletes that still signed up for the open last year, but didn't come to the Friday nights last year. And I think a lot of those athletes that did sign up last year, that were able to attend the Friday nights, realized how much freaking fun those nights are.
The vibe is just so different.
The atmosphere, the cheering, everyone encouraging each other, the feeling of when you're doing a workout, the good added stress when it comes to the 3-2-1 go, when there's maybe some people watching you, or when you're on like a competition floor. I mean, we set it up like
it just feels more official.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was great. Overall, I think from an affiliate standpoint, our members really rallied together. We had cool dinners out with everybody, and that brought the community together.
Yeah, every single Friday we went out for dinner afterwards, and I saw lots of new relationships forming, so that was really exciting.
On the last Friday night, we filled up like half the restaurant, which was epic.
Yeah.
It was a cool moment because I was sitting, the way I was positioned, I was sitting in a booth, and I could see everyone in front of me. I was at the end of the restaurant, and I could just see everyone in front of me, and literally like half the restaurant, we had like 30 people from our gym that were just all eating together at a bunch of different tables too. So it was cool to just see all these relationships
I love it,
that have just started from our gym, you know. 100%. They're all talking. So I think that was so great. And I was seeing a lot of CrossFit HQ, which we talked about one of our previous podcasts. CrossFit HQ also put out a lot of marketing towards the open, being very inclusive.
Yes, and they did a great job.
And they were showing a lot of content from other gyms, from people doing their Friday night lights or their early Saturday morning training. So there was a lot of good stuff from not just our gym, but from all of the gyms around that I really, really love to see.
Yeah, I think we executed it really well. I think next year will be even easier to get people to sign up because I believe that those who participated this year are going to be great advocates for the open next year. We had so many people have the magic of the open, get their first double unders, get their first chest to bar pull-ups, get their first thruster at a 65-pound weight. Plenty of people who were
lifted a 35 or 50-pound dumbbell.
Yeah, it's so true. We had so many people who had limiting beliefs completely dismantled by the open this year, which was phenomenal.
There is always so much resistance to people signing up for the open.
I think people put a lot of pressure on themselves to perform, and so they think that it's going to be this big stressful thing. And then when it comes down to it, they realize it's really more about the participation and the community bonding feel. And the magic of like pushing yourself in a way that we don't encourage or we don't do in the group classes because it's just not sustainable training. So a couple times a year we test ourselves, and this is a test. And so people are just unfamiliar of what that feels like. But once they experience it, they're like, oh my gosh, this is how you break boundaries.
Yes, I agree with you. And we'll come back to this after because there's a point I want to talk to. But I also do think there is a sustainable part of it.
Well, just explain it now because you're being
well,
cryptic.
I'll talk about this I'll talk about this after because I want to talk about like how our athletes can look at their results and where they can go with this.
Oh yeah.
But I do think there is a sustainable part, and I want to come back to it after. Okay.
Well, you just remember that because I have baby brain.
Okay, so that was from the affiliate standpoint, and I think the messaging that CrossFit did to all the affiliates was phenomenal. The programming side of things, I would say they did a phenomenal job of programming up until the third workout.
I agree.
I was super pleased and excited about the first two workouts. And then, ultra disappointed in the third open workout.
Right.
One of the things I think they've always prided themselves on is, yes, this is the first stage to finding the fittest person in the world. Right. And CrossFit is known to test all areas of fitness, not just endurance, not just strength, not just aerobic capacity, but all fitness, right? And I think they did a great job in workout 1 and 2 in terms of making it inclusive for anyone and everyone to join and participate.
I agree.
With, minimal equipment. Like the first one, you just needed a dumbbell. The second one, you needed a row and a barbell and a skipping rope, which every CrossFit gym in the world has that C2 rower. Yeah. And a barbell, and you should definitely have a jump rope. And then in the third one, they did make it very easily accessible in terms of equipment. But if you look at the overall movements they chose, there was only 2 movements tested in workout 1, 3 movements tested in workout number 2. And then for a lot of people in the world, there was only 1 or 2 movements tested in workout number 3. You're looking at a combined 7 movements for the majority of people in the world. I don't know how many people got a bar muscle up, but even then, the most you could have done, the entire world, the most movements you would have done is 8 movements in total, which to me, the open isn't necessarily to test the fittest in the world, but it is to get a general test on all the elements of fitness as well. There was no real strength component. There was tons of movements that were left out. I mean, movements that we see in every single open: toes to bar, wall balls,
wall walks, shuttle runs.
Yep. They introduced shuttle runs last year, and I thought that was a great movement that they introduced last year, and they didn't put it in this year. I mean, there's so many different barbell variations of movements that they didn't. Snatch, yeah, exactly. They didn't put that in there. There was no real like shoulder endurance stuff at all, like a little bit in terms of like maybe dumbbell snatch and burpees. Like I know my pecs were burning a little bit,
right,
but not really my shoulders. The second workout was a grippy and cardio workout, and then the third one was really just quads, cardio to push into a really hard place. And then if you had the capacity to be able to pull yourself to the bar, then it was there. But there was really lacking like a lot of like shoulder pushing, right, or upper body pushing required. Yeah. There was a lot of movements that were left off, a lot of gymnastic movements that were left off. There was a big strength element that was completely removed from the entire open that I felt was I feel like extremely that was a lacking.
Big default in the program.
The other thing I'll mention is on that third workout, the way that they program that, so you had to do 10 thrusters and then 10 chest to bar pull-ups. Now, the way the open works is that if you can do 1 RX repetition, then you beat every single person in the world who does the scaled option. So if you pick up the barbell and do 1 thruster at 65 pounds for the ladies or 1 thruster at 95 pounds for the guys, and walk away from the workout and you don't have to suffer at all. You just do 1 rep and walk away and put your score as 1. Then you beat every single person who has to do the entire scaled version. So if you put thrusters first and then you put chest to bar after, there are thousands and thousands of people that cannot do chest to bar pull-ups. But because you've put thrusters first, that allows or that forces people to just do your score,
me, 10 thrusters.
Yeah. You can't do a chest to bar. You don't have the physical capability of doing a chest to bar pull up. Well, that freaking sucks because you're just going to do 10 thrusters and then call it a day. And then thousands and thousands. I'm talking like probably tens of thousands. I would have to go and look onto the app, but I would imagine there are tens of thousands of people who just did 10 thrusters on the last workout and called it there, which is kind of shit because that's not a really good workout for them.
Like personally, I would have liked to have thrown down with the scaled people. You know what I mean?
So that's a good point. Like what I think they should have done is they should have, well, if they wanted to keep those movements specifically, I think they should have put chest to bar first. And any person that cannot do a chest to bar pull up,
therefore forced
to do the scaled option.
But then it's so awesome because those of us who are scaled, then we get to throw down with the other people who are scaled, and it feels more competitive.
Yep.
Because I know had I done this workout scaled, I would have done a fairly decent score. I would have been able to move really fast, and I probably would have beat a lot of people that I currently have the same score with.
Yep.
So yeah, I personally, I would have really enjoyed that as someone who was limited by the chest to bar this time around.
Absolutely. And to take it even further than that, if they wanted to make it even more inclusive, like they did such a good job in the first and second workout in terms of exercise specifically, I think they should have threw the toes to bar in first because way, way more people can do toes to bar before they can even do chest to bar. Now I know it's a gymnastic pulling variation. You don't have to pull your chin over the bar here or your chest to the bar, and it's different. It's a little bit more core oriented, but I think you would have still had a similar result in the end and made it like a 3-part progression where it's like toes to bar, chest to bar, and then muscle up in the end, you know? It would have
give more variety. It would have
given
scores.
Way more variety. A lot more people would have had to suffer more in the thrusters, which is pretty much the intent of that workout. The intent is to be able to like grind it out onto the thruster and pair it with a gymnastic movement. So I think they could have done that. I think there's also a plethora of exercises and different movements
that they could have
incorporated. You know, that like everyone can do shuttle runs. Not everyone can do wall walks, but it's a movement that is more obtainable than a chest to bar pull up. Wall balls. They could have put a cool like 1RM or a complex of something at the end of that workout, or even at the beginning of that workout, and that would have been such an epic way to just finish the 2024 CrossFit Open. Just, you know, ultimate throwdown with a barbell. Like that would have been so sick, in my opinion.
Totally.
So I think there's like the little details that I feel matter, and hopefully they do that. Also, I'll add one final thing I wish that CrossFit would do. I don't know how they would do it in terms of the software, because we do have to remember that the software they're using has to work well for
worldwide
350 to 400,000 people worldwide.
And it is quite user friendly. I will say they do a great job of making it very easy to use.
But yeah, absolutely. What I think they should do is they should set like a minimum. You cannot RX this workout unless you do a minimum of X amount of repetitions.
Yeah, so
this way it takes away
it
just takes away from this, like, should you RX, should you scale? And I mean, like, if they said, hey, the minimum is you have to be able to do 1 round of 10 thrusters and 10 chest to bar pull-ups, then it would have allowed people to understand like what they should have done.
Yeah, and it would have caused a little bit more differentiation in the scores, because like me, there's a lot of people who just did the 10 thrusters and then called it.
Yeah, and it happens a lot for many workouts, you know. Just, I don't know if they could set it up in their system where you can't put anything less than 20 reps.
Yeah, I'm sure it's doable. There's computer geeks out there.
For sure. But that's just an idea.
Call the Geek Squad.
Yeah, I just think that is something that they should consider, is putting a minimum for RX or scaled. You can't do it RX
do 1 rep
unless you do
exactly.
Unless you do like I said, like even for the first workout, if you just do like 1
dumbbell snatch
at 35, 50 pounds and walk away, you beat every single person who does the entire, like, I don't know, remember, it was at 180 repetitions of scaled version, which is
stimulus,
hard.
They're not getting anywhere close to the right stimulus.
Even for myself, for someone who grabs a 50-pound dumbbell and did that workout RX in the first one, if you were to tell me to do the scaled version and do 35-pound dumbbell, I promise you I'm going to go faster, but I'm still going to be in a whirl of pain at the end of that workout.
100%.
Versus like one person that picks up one rep and beats my score. You know, it just seems a little bit odd. But anyways, I think the first 2 workouts were programmed great. I'm so critical on programming. This is why I spend a lot of time programming for CrossFit Max, and I wish that they just spun it a little bit different on the last one, excuse me. Okay, now, last thing I wanted to cover, your personal results here. Not you, Susie, but the listeners.
I know.
The
we talked about mine already.
The listeners' results here. Now, first thing you should be is just absolutely proud of yourself.
100%. You participated in the Open. That was a scary thing. Yeah. And you are awesome. You being the listener. And you too, babe.
Thanks. For a lot of people, this was your first CrossFit Open, which is a huge milestone. So congrats. And I'm excited for you guys to hit your second one, because your second one is always more fun than the first one. The first one, you have butterflies. You don't really know. It is the unknown for you, and you just have to take the word of these coaches who are just saying, hey, sign up for this thing where you're going to enter your score for hundreds of thousands of people to see. The other thing I want you guys to do, so maybe this wasn't your first Open, maybe you did a couple Opens already, is I don't want you to be too hard on yourself for the ranking.
The ranking does not define who you are as a person.
Yep, that's a good point. A lot of people are internally really, really hard on themselves. Mm-hmm. And I encourage you to not look at this as like something that you're going to put yourself down on, but use it as like a fire to light yourself for
motivation.
Exactly. Motivational purposes. And just use that as when you're feeling, let's say, down throughout the year, or you're feeling like, I don't want to go train today, or, I don't feel like lifting a little bit heavier. Use whatever fire you have right now and hold on to that throughout the next year of training.
Yeah, I feel like coming off of the open is a great time to reevaluate your goals in terms of maybe skills that you plan to use, or like you said before, you're like, I don't want to suck in the burpee workout again, so I'm going to work on my burpees.
Absolutely.
Use this as like a learning experience about finding your strengths and your weaknesses, and less about putting a rank on yourself in terms of like your value as an athlete.
Exactly. It's a great time to reflect. Think about the things that you did well in first, and then think about the things that you would like to improve on.
100%.
And from there, create a strategy and try to work on those things that you really feel like you need to improve on.
Crush it. Attack.
Exactly. The other thing I wanted to say was, going back to your point before where you talked about
sustainability.
Like, is it sustainable and or not? What I think the open does is it brings out a tougher side of each person, and it puts you into more uncomfortable positions, and it really allows people to see like whether they can rise to the occasion.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
Great.
We'll use the first workout as an example. 35-pound dumbbell for the ladies, 50-pound dumbbell for the guys, dumbbell snatches and burpees. Everyone can do a burpee. The dumbbell snatch was the limiter, and there was so many people that when they train throughout the year, like, I'm going to grab the 30-pound dumbbell instead of the 35-pound dumbbell.
Right.
You know? And then when
it's a comfort
and
thing.
then when we see this workout in the open, it's like, I can't do the 35. I can't do this. I can't do that. No, it's too heavy for me. I can't lift the 35. And then in the open, they do the entire workout. They do 90 repetitions of dumbbell snatches with a 35-pound dumbbell. And then after that, they take that 35-pound dumbbell in the workout, in the training session that I planned the following week.
Yes.
And they're like, which dumbbell should I grab? And then they grab the 35-pound dumbbell, and next thing you know, they're able to do 35-pound dumbbell
right.
in the
They
workout.
dismantled that sort of limiting belief that they previously had.
I'll use Lucy as an example. We had a dumbbell complex with dumbbell snatch, reverse lunge, and then push press in the team workout we did on Saturday. And Lucy went to go grab the 30-pound dumbbell, and I said, Lucy, grab the 35-pound dumbbell.
You have graduated.
This is the perfect workout. It was short repetitions. It was a work to rest ratio of 1-to-1. And this is the perfect workout for you to practice 35-pound dumbbell.
Right.
And she did the entire workout with that 35-pound dumbbell and threw it around like no problem. You know, obviously it was tough, but she was able to cycle that dumbbell very smoothly the entire workout. And so in terms of like sustainable versus, yes, I understand the stimulus of the workout. You cannot be doing 99% effort levels in your workouts the whole time. That is definitely not sustainable. It is rare that I push to that level and my body is beat up after those 3 weeks because I don't train at that level. But in terms of taking away things from the open, is that you could be a little bit harder on yourself when you're choosing weights.
Yes.
You could be a little bit harder on yourself in terms of holding the standard of movement. Was I squatting all the way down? Was I pressing the barbell all the way up?
Yeah. I hit the target?
Exactly.
Did I touch my toes to the bar? Did my chest touch the bar for the pull-ups?
Yeah.
All those things that we talk about.
Am I always scaling knee raises when I should be doing maybe leg raises, and that'll
100%.
get me closer to toes to bar, right? Or am I always doing ring rows, or should I be doing jumping chest to bar pull-ups?
Yes.
Is my chest making contact with the pull-up bar every time I'm doing jumping chest to bar pull-ups? So in terms of sustainability, I agree the intensity of those workouts is at an all-time high. But I think there are a lot of things that you could take away into your training sessions. So I hope that cleared up what I was being super cryptic about before.
I know what you meant. And I just meant that we don't go balls to the walls necessarily that often in our training cycle like we do in the open.
Definitely agreed.
And obviously in the open, we encourage people to RX even when they only can do 10 reps of the workout. In a group class, we would never be like, oh yeah, just do 10 thrusters and then peace out after 10 minutes.
Agreed.
So that's what I meant by it's not like a sustainable way to train necessarily.
Okay.
Okay, client of the week. We got to get it.
The week. This person has deserved it for a long time. They had not just a great open performance, they had great energy around all the people around them. And that client is Danielle.
Woo! We love you, Danielle.
She brought a really fun energy to the people around her. She was very encouraging. She also did really, really great in her open performance. She crushed all the workouts.
She has made leaps and bounds in her fitness in the last year. I mean, she was already an incredibly fit person, but her like CrossFit level has just
gone to a next
skyrocketed.
Level. Yeah,
that's the word I was looking for. It took
Hell
me a second.
Yeah, but even more so, she's just such a great person in the gym. Coaching her is so much fun.
The community.
Yeah.
Participates in the community. Sorry, I can't speak.
Yeah. And yeah, she's deserved this client of the week. I don't know if we've named her client of the week.
I think we might have, but like a while ago.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
But she definitely deserves this one because she had a great open performance and great energy around all the people around her. So thanks, Danielle.
We love you so much.
And thanks to all of you guys for tuning in and listening to another episode of the CrossFit Max podcast, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.
Bye.